Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Anna, conversion copywriter and email marketing strategist. In today's video, I want to talk to you about email sequences that you can use to boost your online store revenue. So this video is specifically for online store owners. And of course, we're going to dive right into it. Email is a critical part of online marketing, especially in instances where you're running an online store where people sometimes come, they browse, they leave, they find you on social, they pop on the site, they're not ready to buy and they don't come back. All right, those are things that happen frequently with online stores. And so email is a great way to capture lead information, to capture email addresses, and to maintain contact with potential buyers as well as people who've bought from you before. And so I'm going to share with you 5 critical sequences, and then there's a bonus one depending on the stage you are in your business, right? So the first sequence I want to talk about is the welcome sequence, right? As an online store owner, when you have that pop up on your site for whether a coupon code, a discount, free gift, free shipping, whatever the offer is, it is important to use that opportunity to connect with your subscribers in a welcome email sequence. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this, chances are you've gotten an email from a brand at some point where you signed up and they're like, oh, here's your coupon, and that's it, nothing else. Or worst case scenario, you sign up for the coupon and the coupon never made it to your inbox, which is an absolute no-no, by the way, but separate video for that. Now, the welcome sequence is a great sequence to have because, one, it has some of the highest open rates ever. Welcome email sequences, because the subscriber has signed up for the thing that you're offering. They've just signed up, they're excited, you've promised something, they're going to be checking their inbox for that thing. And so it's a great opportunity to introduce them to the brand, tell them a little about who you are, who you serve, just share some information. For brands that I've worked with, I like to include a little about, kind of like a value proposition, who we are, who we help, give them the thing that you've promised them, the coupon, the discount, the free shipping code, whatever it is. And if you're going to be sending more emails as part of that sequence, let them know there are more emails coming, right? So look out for this in 2 days or back in your inbox tomorrow, whatever the case may be. It's also good to include in your welcome sequence testimonials of people you've helped before with your solution. So if it's a beauty product, throw in some testimonials, who's had success with the product. If it's clothing, throw in some pictures. What do people have to say about the pieces? How do your clothes make people feel? Whatever your brand is. The main goal of the welcome sequence is to do an effective introduction. So 1, people get a real sense of who you are. 2, they get a sense of how you can help them. And 3, they also warm up to the idea of hearing from you regularly, which is one of the key values, I think, of that welcome sequence. As you're closing out your welcome sequence, and it doesn't need to be long, 3 emails is good. I've had clients have success with 5 and more. It really depends on your brand. In that final email in the welcome sequence, you do want to set some expectations. How often they'll be hearing from you. Do you send a weekly newsletter, which is one of the other sequences? Do you send a weekly newsletter? How often are you checking in? Do you have content online that may be helpful for them? Do you have YouTube videos that show them how to use your products? Like that kind of a thing. You want to mention that in your welcome sequence and set expectations going forward. Remind them to use the coupon as well, if it is that you included a coupon code in that first email. And so yeah, that I would say is the anatomy of an effective welcome sequence, having all those things covered. Another critical sequence is your cart abandonment sequence, your abandoned cart sequence. As I mentioned at the start of this video, a lot of the times when people go onto a site, whether or not they intend to purchase, sometimes they'll browse, they'll add things to their cart, and then they leave, or they leave in the middle of the checkout process for whatever reason. We don't typically know the reasons why. But what is important is to follow up. And that's the goal of the cart abandonment sequence. Doesn't need to be long. Again, on average, in my time in an agency and working with freelance clients, I typically see 1 to 3 emails for cart abandonment. 3 is not bad if you space them, right? But it depends. As with anything else, testing is going to be a critical part of figuring out what works for you. And so again, for your cart abandonment, you want to make sure you're making reference to the product that they have added to their cart. Here, this is a good opportunity to check in and ask them questions. Were there any challenges with the checkout? Was there anything you wanted to clarify with your purchase? Maybe they didn't quite understand something about the product and it made them hesitate. Maybe when they were trying to check out, they had a challenge. So ask those questions in your cart abandonment sequence. The cart abandonment emails are also a good place to talk about your money back guarantee if there is one, to talk about your free returns process if you have one. It's a good place to throw in testimonials, right? Because at this point, they're probably on the fence and you want to help them over the fence to decision, right? So throw in some testimonials of other customers who've had success with the product. Depending on what you do, if it's skincare, before and afters work well here. Throw in photos, throw in testimonials. As far as discounts, I do know sometimes other brands throw in discounts. I'm not the biggest advocate of them. I think, and this depends, right? It depends on your price point, your product, your experience with discounts. I don't like defaulting to discounts as a way to get people to buy, because what that does is it conditions your audience to expect a discount. And so if you can base your cart abandonment sequence, your reasons to buy, if you can base those around the value you provide, the experience other customers have had with a money back guarantee, maybe you throw in a bonus, right? But the positioning is important. Can you use discounts? Absolutely. If that's part of your business, you can make it part of the cart abandonment sequence. But just bear in mind there are other ways to sell, and selling on value is a good one, right? So moving on from your cart abandonment sequence, the third sequence that I like to encourage my clients to have is a post-purchase sequence. And this is one that tends to get neglected. Even if people include that single welcome email with the coupon, or they throw in one cart abandonment email, many tend to forget the post-purchase emails. And I'm not talking now about your transactional emails. In this context, I'm referring to post-purchase emails, what happens after. So not the shipping confirmation or the order confirmation. Those aren't the ones I'm talking about. Those are important too, but those are kind of automated, so I wouldn't include those here. But your post-purchase emails are the check-in. How did you like the product? How was your experience ordering online? Can you share your feedback? Tell us what you thought of it. Farming for feedback is a good email to include in your post-purchase sequence. Another good one is providing additional information to your customer. Now that you're in position of this, here are 3 ways to use it, right? For maximum results, for best results. Remember to do X, Y, Z. So if there are use instructions, even if you include them in your packaging, it's nice to kind of hint at those in your post-purchase emails and really remind the customer that you care about the experience that they have with your product, right? It's also a great opportunity to cross-sell. So if you, and Amazon is a beast at this, and we all know, but Amazon does it on the product page. We're not talking about the post-purchase emails. So now that you've bought A, we think B, C, and D would pair nicely. Or people who usually buy A on our website, they'll come back and they'll get this because it goes nicely with it. And of course, you're not just randomly recommending products, right? You want to tell a story that connects those products. So if your business is makeup, having bought your foundation, you can probably say to a customer, hey, now that you've bought the foundation, we think you like it, you'll be using it for a bit, this finishing powder may go nicely with that. Or, you know what? How about a subscription? Post-purchase sequences are also another place to sell subscriptions, right? Now that you've tried this, we don't want you to ever run out. We noticed you ordered X days ago, you probably, down to the last portion of whatever that product is. And so that's another way to use the post-purchase email sequence, right? To cross-sell, to introduce them to subscriptions, to introduce them to other products, and really to share information on how to get the best use out of your product. And now on to our next sequence, the win-back or re-engagement sequence. This is a great option. It can be used for subscribers, people on your list who haven't bought yet. They're just kind of sitting there. They didn't use the coupon. It's been months. And you can also use it for people who bought months ago, haven't been back to the site. So it could be kind of like a check-in. Hey, haven't seen you for a while. Here's what's new. I like to use the what's new angle for the re-engagement / win-back. And it makes it feel a little, in my opinion anyway, it makes it feel a little less desperate, like, we're checking in, where have you been, what have you been doing? It makes it feel less like that and more like you're here to serve them. So it's been a while since you've been around. Here's what we've been up to, sharing some information that we think may be valuable to you. We've launched a new line, we've added some products, we've adjusted pricing. We didn't have subscriptions before, but we have them now. We didn't have free shipping before, but we have it now. Whatever that new thing is, win-back or re-engagement emails are a great way to kind of get back on people's radar, and using the what's new angle is always a good way to do that. If you are generating content, if you're sharing content is also a good way to use the win-back, like what we've been up to. You can also share that as well. But I'd say the win-back or re-engagement sequence is important, because a lot of the times people fall off, they get busy, they stop opening your emails. It's kind of a way to nudge them back in to say, hey, we're still here and we can still help you with whatever that problem was when you signed up, whether it's a skincare issue or you're looking for more comfortable jeans or whatever your solution is, right? So the next email sequence that I want to talk about is a newsletter or nurture sequence. I realize a lot of brands don't really do this one. What they do is just throw sales emails at you whenever they have a sale. The newsletter or nurture sequence is a good one to have because it helps you stay top of mind for your customers or your potential customers. And these emails can be sent once a month, once a week, or bi-monthly, which is twice a month. Entirely up to you. You get to decide what that cadence is. It's your brand. But essentially for these emails, your goal is to provide value and to remain top of mind for your customer or subscriber. What that looks like could be a combination of any of the strategies I've mentioned earlier. It could be behind the scenes. This is what the process looks like when you place an order. We package your order, we do this is what these customers had to say recently about using our products. The testimonials before and afters are great to be part of your newsletter sequence. How to use the product, how to get the most out of our product, benefits of our products, general tips related to your product. The key here is to provide value in these emails and engage them. Engage them and provide value, and mention your product naturally. Doesn't need to be a forced sell in every email. Those testimonials, by sharing another buyer's story, you're implying without selling explicitly. And so that's, I would say, is a great way to look at your newsletter or nurture emails as an online brand, as an e-commerce store. Think of it as providing value, engaging, and then soft selling. There's nothing wrong with a we're having a sale email, but every single email shouldn't be a we're having a sale email. Larger brands can do that, and here I'm referring to Old Navy, Bath and Body Works. They can do that because I think, one, the scale of production allows them to mark down because they've already accounted for those discounts in their pricing. And so, especially if you are a smaller brand, you don't want to go the angle of offering a sale every time you need to sell a product, because it's definitely not sustainable unless you factor that into your original pricing, which brings up the issue of integrity, which is a whole other thing. So my advice would always be lead with value and engagement, and the rest will follow. All right. And I think we went a little bit off track, but that's cool because it's still connected. And the very last sequence, which is optional depending on where you are in your business, is a loyalty or referral program sequence. If you have a loyalty program or a referral program, refer a friend, get $10, refer a friend, get $5, whatever the case may be. If you have one of those programs, it's important to have an email sequence that promotes that, right? In that sequence, you want to be crystal clear on what the offer is. So what do I get in exchange for telling my friend about your brand? If it's not necessarily referral, but loyalty, what do I get after 5 purchases, or what do I get after spending X amount? You want to be very clear about that. I would also recommend, if you have a loyalty or referral program, to have a page on your website that outlines the information, and then that email can also link out to the page to provide additional details. Yeah, so that rounds out the list of email sequences that you can use to help boost revenue in your online business. Quick recap of the sequences: your welcome email sequence, your cart abandonment sequence, your post-purchase email sequence, your win-back or re-engagement sequence, your newsletter or nurture sequence, and as a bonus, your loyalty or referral sequence. So that's it for today's video. As always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will be sure to answer them. If you have any ideas, questions, suggestions for the next video, drop those in the comments as well, and I will be sure to address it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, watching and learning about email marketing, and have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.